What do you got going on? Hearing this is your first sentencing. Trina Daring. Okay. Mr. Blackman, what do you have?
I have Miss Long. I'm waiting for the prosecutor to come there. Hope I'm assuming it's going to be a waiver, but I'm not sure yet.
You waiting for the prosecutor?
Yes.
Who's prosecuting now?
Mr. Reed speaking.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and who was the person who wasn't transported?
Napoleon Johnson.
Napoleon.
Yeah, call back to boards. All days.
Okay, Trina Daring is just not responding.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Trina Daring, can you hear me? You're muted, so I can't hear you. I also can't see you. Okay. Well,
I'll go call her.
sounds good.
Are you covering for all of Steve's
Does
stuff?
she,
No, actually.
Does she
Jason-
go
Mrs. Daring, can you hear us? You might have to turn your volume up on your device.
Well, we can't hear, I can't hear her.
think we're ready on something.
Okay, let's see. I almost, somebody's in my waiting room, maybe had some slides. Is she having some technical issues?
The first time she couldn't hear us, so she logged out, logged in, and then I couldn't hear her.
And then, did you need to speak to Al-Asadi?
I think Mr. Ferguson already did. I'm covering for him and he's already arranged.
He's naughty. You don't need to speak to council before we proceed, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Ms. Deering, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I need to see you as well. Okay, very good, thank you. I'm going to Mr. Al-Asadi. On the record in the matter, the people of the state of Michigan versus Ali Al-Asadi, file number 22-02662, council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people practicing on oral 8.120 here with supervising attorney Leon Berman and Adam Piper. Right.
Wayne Silverthorne from the Office of Public Defender, standing in for Stephen Ferguson, representing Ali Ahad Al-Asadi, who I see is appearing on screen. Before I go further, Your Honor, I want to extend an apology to you, clerk, a formal apology. He knows what it's regarding the matter is.
Well, it's on the record, we all should know, huh?
It's just stress related, handling too many cases.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm sorry, we're good.
Okay. All right, so today was the date that was set for a plea. I don't have a plea sheet, so what's going on?
Yeah, approach your honor.
Okay. Oh, is today the 20th? We had a do-over from yesterday? I have a plea sheet and it states that people are offering for the defendant to plead guilty to count 3, which is attempted flee. Fourth. Okay, so we're adding to count 3.
An attempt, yes.
Okay, so it should say added count 3. Attempted flee 4.
Fleeing the living for it, yes.
Flee only 4th degree. And that's a misdemeanor with the maximum penalty of 1 year and or $1,000 in fines. Driver license sanctions may be imposed, and they're going to dismiss counts 1 and 2. They're also in agreement, or there's no objection to sentencing under HIDA if eligible. Is that an accurate recitation of the plea offer?
Yes, your honor.
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Mr. Al-Asadi, do you want to accept that offer?
Sorry, what was it?
What was the offer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a added count 3 of attempted fleeing and eluding 4th degree.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, are you sure about that?
To be honest with you, I really don't know what it means.
Okay, well then I can reset this so that you can have more time to talk to your attorney and then make sure you know what's going on, because I don't want you to take something like this with the maximum penalty of 1 year and you're not clear, okay, sir? I have no time
Okay.
giving you more time, okay? I have no problem with giving you more time, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
If I had Mr. And it should be in his file. Mr. Al-Asadi, you've given your number to our office, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Might be possible that within the next maybe 60 minutes, I can give you a call and you can explain what it means and what it doesn't mean in youthful training status. I assumed that that had already been done, but clearly it's
Okay.
not. So I don't mind calling.
Yeah, we could do that.
If you went again today or not.
I'll be here.
So you might be able to log in, and when your name appears on the screen, you'll see it. Because I'm here most of this morning, and we can get it done at that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, so you're gonna get in contact with him today to see if we're gonna move forward. Is that what the plan is?
That's correct. As soon as I,
Okay, if we're not, then I'm gonna have to find good cause to adjourn beyond the
that's fine.
timeline,
That's
and I have no problem doing that for this purpose,
I
okay?
have, most of my matters are with your honor, so I'll just, when I have a spare moment, I'll give them a call.
Okay, sounds good. I'll hang on to this file for now. Okay, Mr. Al-Asadi, you're free to go for now, and then Mr. Silverthorne will get in contact with you. I think he's between multiple courts today, so he'll give you a call when he's free, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, Ms. Deering. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Trina Denise Deering, file number 22-01391 FY. Can I have your appearance for the record, counsel? We have a little collision there.
I think it was.
Yeah, I'll take the burn that took him so much to figure.
It's not a lot of space.
To be fair, I hit you with the door before.
You have, exactly. Appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant Trina Deering, who is appearing by Zoom.
Okay, Ms. Deering is present the Zoom today for her sentencing. And I do have a pre-sentence report stated for October 6, 2022. Did you get a copy of that, Ms. Donnelly?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay, any reason to make updates, corrections, or deletions?
No, Your Honor.
You can address the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. is a kind of an update. Ms. Deering was reported that the CPS case was closed out last week. They have successfully closed it out. I do see that in the pre-sentencing report, there might be some indications that she will need additional services, though. She was given one online parenting class, so the recommendation is that she go through more than that, based on her presentation at the pre-sentencing and interview. And I would agree, or no objection to a term of probation, obviously, and then give her certain services. I would ask for want the court to consider that the specific request for CBT and anger management, there isn't a current. I know that those services are largely dependent upon an assessment. Basically, a licensed provider will see if those services are appropriate. I agree that whatever services are appropriate, she could do on probation, whether that be CBT or anger management. But what I would want the court to request or put in the order is basically have her be screened by a provider, like if they usually probation refers them to PATS or MRS, but if she goes to like CMH or something, if she receives a comprehensive assessment, usually those providers will tell her what she is appropriate for. If it's CBT, if it's anger management, then the order could be tailored to be that, get the assessment and follow the recommendations for treatment. I just don't want to pigeonhole her into just CBT or anger management when there could be other things that she could be eligible for, like the DBT might be more appropriate for her. I also don't want her, if they don't find those services appropriate, for her to be have to get something or have to figure out a way to get a service that like maybe CMH wouldn't find her appropriate for, and provide her like a free way to get it. So that's all that we would ask. And then if the court would order CBT and anger management, that the court consider tailoring it in a way where she does one at a time. She does have a lot of responsibilities, Your Honor. She's a single mother. She works full time. So that would be the only request we would make. But other than that, Your Honor, we have no objections. We would ask that she be placed on a term of probation. Thank you. I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot about the 7694 cents. That would be also be what we requested.
We got an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report and the recommendation. At the time this recommendation was written, it says she was involved in the family court. They were monitoring the in-home removal of the child. You said that the CPS case was closed.
That is what Ms. Deering is reporting, is that it was closed out last week.
Okay, and they've not ordered her to do anything.
No, at this time, I don't believe they have. My thought is that they closed it out because she's gonna be put on probation.
Okay, so it did say that she had been in compliance with her family court program at the time that this report was authored. This is her first criminal conviction, and so special status, she'd be eligible for special status. I think under the circumstances. Probation would be appropriate. I think the concern of the probation officer who authored this report was that the defendant appeared to see no issues with her actions and appeared to feel like her actions were justified. Is that an accurate reflection of how your client feels?
No, Your Honor, I don't believe that is entirely how she feels. I do believe she recognizes that her actions were wrong, that she, and that's why she got the CPS case and this criminal charge. I don't, but I would leave it to her to explain basically what she said to the probation officer.
Ms. Deering?
Yes, I told the probation officer that I could handle the situation differently and discipline my son in a different way. So I'm not understanding why that was put in the report.
Okay, so you did not say that you didn't see any issues with your actions, or that you didn't feel bad for disciplining your son in the way that you did because you were disciplined worse as a child?
I mean, I did mention that my discipline for myself when I was a child was worse in all three foster homes that I've been in. Yes, I did say that, but I didn't say that I didn't feel bad and that I could handle the situation differently. And both of my family support workers was here when I had the interview with, I believe her name is Heather, and they heard the whole conversation. And I see that in the report, she said that I had a lot of attitude, but I really didn't. She was very rude on the phone.
Well, I'm thankful that you were able to address those issues. I just had a concern because in order for the probation to be successful, it would mean that you are willing to address the fact that you could have handled things better, and that you're willing to look and garner some tools so that in the future, you'll know how to, or you'll be able to appropriately address these issues as you're raising your children, so that you don't have more interaction with the justice system as it relates to raising your kids. I think that 769.48A is appropriate. So because of that, I'm going to put you on a term of probation. I'll place you on a term of 6 months of probation. While on probation, there's a $30 per month oversight fee that you will be responsible for. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior while you're on probation. You're not to purchase or possess a firearm, ammunition, or weapon of any kind. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol, drugs, or a controlled substance unless you have a valid prescription, okay?
Okay.
You're going to be required to submit to random preliminary breath tests and or your analysis, and you have to pay the fee associated with that. Let's see. I will grant your attorney's request, which is to have you screened to see what programming would be most appropriate for you, rather than just ordering you to anger management and cognitive behavioral therapy. You'll then comply with any recommendations of probation as to which programming you should complete, okay? If any.
Okay, so I'm supposed to do 6 months probation. I'm supposed to do drug screens and get a screening for anger management.
You're going to be screened to see if you need to undergo anger management or CBT.
Okay.
Okay. And then need to maintain your employment. The report states that you were employed. That's still accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
So if I'm taking drug screens, that means I have to pay for the drug screens as well?
Yeah, you're required to pay for this preliminary breath test and or your analysis testing. Okay. Do you have any questions about your probationary terms at this time?
No.
So there's fines and costs. Again, I mentioned that there's a $30 per month oversight fee that you're responsible for as probation, as being on probation. There's also a $75 crime victim rights fee that by statute I must assess, as well as a $50 state minimum cost that also must be assessed. I'm going to waive any discretionary fines and costs. And then that'll bring a total of $305. You'll be able to make monthly payments on that. I recognize, however, ma'am, that you are in a situation where you have limited financial resources. You're a single mom raising children. You need to prioritize paying for your drops. And so you don't get violated for not reporting to your drops, okay? So if it's a balance between if you can pay on this 305 or pay to go get your PBT, pay for the PBT, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Because at the end of your probationary term, if you've been compliant, I can address these fines a different way. But if you skip your PBTs, you'll get violated, okay?
Okay.
And you don't want to be violated and then lose the opportunity to have this special status, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. You'll be contacted by the probation department to go over my order. There's also an advice of rights here for probation. It advises of when you would have the opportunity to be considered for the right to early discharge from probation. It says you have been sentenced to a term of probation in 54A District Court. The probation conditions have been individually tailored and are specific to address your assessed risks and needs, except for domestic violence, criminal sex crimes, stalking offenses, or an offense where the defense was guilty but mentally ill. You may be eligible for early discharge from probation. You have the following rights. You have the right to request early discharge from probation once you completed half the original term of probation ordered by the court. Your probation officer may, but is not required to, file a notice with the judge once you become eligible for early discharge. The probation officer must send to you and the prosecuting attorney a copy of the notice. Prosecuting attorney then has 14 days after the receipt of the written notice to file objections to your request to early discharge. You may request an early discharge from probation after meeting the following conditions. A, you have completed all required probation programming, and B, you have not violated within the 3 months prior to making your request. You must send a copy of your request for the probation office to the probation officer and the prosecuting attorney, and then the prosecuting attorney again will have 14 days from receipt of their notice to file written objection. If a hearing is scheduled, you have the right to hire or retain an attorney to represent you. You do not have the right to court-appointed counsel to represent you for a hearing for early discharge from probation. Lastly, the notice that you would need to make a request for early discharge is called the MC 512 form. That form is on the court's website. Do you have any questions about the rights that I just read?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set, ma'am, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, Mr. Alasadi, you were free to go because Mr. Silverthorne's going to give you a call when he can, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody's trying to log in, it's not working out. On the record, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jessica Lynn Long, file number 22-02285. Council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people.
Frank Blackman on behalf of Ms. Long, she's standing to my right.
How are you, Ms. Long? Today's the date that was set for preliminary examination. How are we proceeding on it?
Your Honor, the people and the defense are unconditionally waiving their right to the preliminary examination. There is an offer to be placed on the record.
Okay, we can proceed.
That offer is to an attempt, or not, excuse me, not an attempt, an assault with great bodily harm. I dismiss the other counts, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Brackey.
We acknowledge you, you know, we've only done it to make sure.
Ms. Long, you understand that you have the right to have a preliminary examination here in the district court?
I do.
You understand at the time of the preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecution bring sufficient evidence to meet their burden of probable cause. So they have to show that there's sufficient evidence to show probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause to show that you were the person who committed the crime. You understand that?
Yes.
And you wish to unconditionally waive your examination today?
I do. Yes.
You're being charged with 1 count of assault with intent to murder, punishable, as a felony, punishable by life or any number of years, and assault with a dangerous weapon, that's being felonious assault. That's a felony, punishable, maximum penalty 4 years and or $2,000. And you're willing to waive the hearing in this court to show if there's enough evidence to charge you.
Yes.
You looked at him, that's your right to waive, not his.
No, I just consulted with my attorney when I hired him.
I recognize that, but it's your right, it's not his.
Right.
And it's unconditional. So once you waive it, you can't come back and say, you know what? I shouldn't have waived those rights. I
Well,
should.
from my understanding, I can still have a trial.
You can have a trial. This is not a trial. This is to see if there's enough evidence to even proceed to a trial.
Right. Well, I'm gonna follow my attorney's advice and waive that today.
And there's been any promises made to you to get you to waive your rights?
No, ma'am.
Any threats made to you to get you to waive your rights today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're waiving this exam freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna bind the matter over for a bind over date. Today is the 21st. Bind over date's gonna be Wednesday, November 2nd. That's not a date that you need to appear in court. That's just a date that they'll get the file from this court, okay?
Yes.
Your next court date will be a pretrial in circuit court. Mr. Blackman will be made aware of that date, okay?
Yes.
Bond was set at 10,000, 10%. That will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing good, Your Honor.
Okay, you have to complete that form now. Okay. Mr. Austin, I hear they didn't bring your guy over.
Well, I was informed of your.
Like, it's like 6 more days. Adam, okay? There's 6 more days.
Yeah, who's representing Kevin Murphy? You can bring.
I am, Your Honor.
You can bring him up. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Napoleon Johnson, file number 22-02660. Council appearances.
Thank you, Your Honor. Randall Berman on behalf of the people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning. Jared Austin appearing on behalf of and in the absence of Napoleon Johnson.
Thank you. Today was the date that was set for a preliminary examination. My understanding is that the defendant was unable to be transported over because he was engaged in some sort of altercation today. And so because of that, I'm going to find good cause to go beyond the 21-day.
That would have been the request, Your Honor. Thank you.
No problem. Let's get you a new date. November 4th at 9:30. November 4th at 9:30 work?
I believe I'm already scheduled to be here that day, Your Honor.
Very good. So we'll set it for that time. Any additional matters for the record?
And on behalf of the people, Your Honor, thank you.
Your Honor, I would just note an objection. I understand the reason for the good cause. I have no additional argument. Nothing further on behalf of Mr. Johnson.
I object to him getting in a fight too. It's your client.
I understand, Your Honor.
It's noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? We have Casey. Is it Solid? Mr. Halen?
I think Mr. Pfeiffer was trying to track down Mr. Nichols to see
Okay, sounds good.
what's going on there.
Okay. And Mr. Bigelow wants to go get Murphy. And then we need Mr. Nickel for Dumont as well.
Sergeant. Continue to wait preliminary.
He's in custody.
He is.
Okay, we'll have somebody bring him up.
Your Honor, to let you know, Jasmine James is going to enter a plea on her case.
Jasmine James is gonna enter a plea.
We're on the free sheet right now, Your Honor.
Sounds good. Jasmine James failed to appear for PCC. We have a warrant.
Well, Your Honor, not in this case, but she has warrants on other matters from earlier this.
It's on the record at the moment. Okay.
Is Jasmine James in here right now?
Yes.
Okay, do we have her other, what other files does she have? So I can.
If the court is ready, the people would be ready to proceed on either or both Montgomery and Johnson. They're both going to be 21-day waivers and adjournment requests. Your Honor. No.
We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus.
I believe you're Marshall Johnson's Your Honor. This would be Deontay Johnson.
Oh, okay.
My
Not
apologies.
Nelson Johnson, thank you. Okay, Deontay Johnson. File number 22-02321. Council appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Aaron Housefield on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dwayne Sullivan from the Office of Public Defender. I'm standing in for Steve Ferguson, and I'm representing Deontay Johnson, who is standing to my right at council table.
Okay, how are you, Mr. Johnson?
Doing all right.
Today is the date that was set for a preliminary examination. How are we proceeding on this?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Feigelson is in trial today. It's my understanding that Mr. Silverthorne is standing in order to request an adjournment on behalf of defense. They're going to enter a 21-day waiver timeline so that Mr. Feigelson may be present with his client for a rescheduled preliminary examination.
That is correct, Your Honor. As Your Honor can see, Mr. Johnson is not in custody. I have consulted with him. He's willing to do that, and there's no prejudice to him having moved out. And the court may inquire further of Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. You understand that you have the right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days of your arraignment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that would set your examination date for this week, which was set for today. And due to your attorney's scheduling conflict, are you willing to waive that timeline so that we can set it for a new date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody threatening you, get you to waive the timeline?
No,
Anybody make any promises to you if you push out your timeline?
no, ma'am.
Okay, we'll get your new date. November 3rd at 10:30. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, ma'am.
Okay, bond was set at 20,000 personal recognizance that will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing for the people. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defendant. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir? You're gonna get a notice right now. You can hang tight, yeah. Okay, on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shatan Marie Montgomery, file number 22-02487 FY council appearance.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Aaron Housefield on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dwayne Sullivan from the Office of Public Defender. I am standing in for Steve Ferguson and representing Shatan Marie Montgomery, who is standing to my right at council table.
Ms. Montgomery. I'm doing well, thank you. Today is the date that is set for your preliminary examination. And I'm assuming that because your attorney's not here, you're willing to waive your 21-day timeline as well. Is that what we're doing?
That's my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay. You understand that you have the right to have your examination within 21 days of your arraignment date? You were arraigned on October 6th. So because your attorney is not available because he's in trial, you're willing to go beyond the 21-day timeline in order to have this reset so he can represent you?
Yeah.
Maybe almost probably could get it in 21 days. It would have to be next Thursday. Anybody promise you anything if you waive your timeline?
No.
Anybody threaten you to get you to waive your timeline today?
No.
Okay, we'll get you any day.
It'll be November 3rd.
November 3rd. At 10:30. At 10:30. Do you have any questions today, ma'am?
No.
Your bond was set at 3,000 personal recognizance, and that will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing for the people. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defendant. Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll get you a notice in a minute, okay? I'm sorry, you got that on record. We get them in on the
It's cranky. I gotta get it.
meeting.
Warning and multi-warning.
Put it right underneath of it.
Yeah, I was just right next to him. Penalty.
On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Kevin Murphy, file number 22-02172 apply. Appearances for the record.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Adam Pfeiffer on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dwayne Silverthorne, from the Office of Public Defender, on behalf of Kevin Murphy, who is appearing to my right.
Today's the date that was scheduled for preliminary examination. How are we proceeding on this?
Your Honor, today the people will be asking for an adjournment and for good cause be found for a 21-day waiver. There were two people who were subpoenaed for this matter, the first being the victim, Gail Peludo, the second being the responding officer, Officer Adam Booth of the Lansing Police Department. Now, with either of these witnesses, the people prepared to request and achieve bind over, including solely the officer. Yesterday afternoon, I discovered we had the incorrect phone number and address for the victim. I got the correct phone number and address for the victim after speaking with her grandfather, lovely man, who was able to get me in touch with her. She never received her subpoena. She didn't even realize this case had been charged because we had the wrong contact information on file. As a result, she's unable to be here today. She could not be here within less than 24 hours notice. Now, I was still planning on holding this examination and achieving bind over solely with the officer, your MCL 76827C, being Officer Adam Booth. He emailed me at 7:57 p.m. last night to tell me that he is on vacation in Costa Rica and will be there until 10:31 of this month. As a result of the fact that both of the people whose subpoenas were sent out for are physically incapable of being here today, I would ask that you find good cause to adjourn the matter till the first week of November, if possible, to find good cause for a waiver of good cause for the 21-day rule to be waived in this matter.
We are closing the request for the adjournment, Your Honor. It is not Mr. Murphy's fault that neither the police officer is available or Ms. Polito is also not available. I find it a little astonishing that Ms. Polito wasn't even aware of this case. My client has been sitting in jail. The state is aware, and the court is aware, this dismissal will be without prejudice. If they are able to bring their witnesses in, they can reissue this case. I don't think it's fair that Mr. Murphy be expected or be asked to remain in jail when the state is unable to proceed today.
Your Honor, the defendant's been in jail because of a different criminal case involving the same victim from the same time period that is currently up in the 30th Circuit Court with Judge Aquilino.
Your Honor, the client indicates that he has a case, but that case isn't holding him. This case is.
What's the bond on the other case?
I'm pulling that up now, Your Honor.
The client indicates that he has a PR bond on that other case.
Here I'm having difficulty pulling up that bond, and if that's the case, then I was mistaken. To be perfectly honest.
Was he recently granted a PR bond? I can't hear head nods.
You said was I
When
recently?
did you get a PR bond on
On the
that?
last case, that was back when the last case was first started, they PR'd me like a week later.
Okay.
And I've been out on bond. Yeah, I've been out on bond since April, and then they asked me to turn myself in for this case, and I turned myself in.
I would think that the fact that he turned himself in and asked to do so on this case speaks volumes about whether he would reappear if the state chose to reissue this case.
I'm looking at the prior case notes. Bond was actually revoked at the district court level, then at the circuit court level, the defendant filed a writ of habeas corpus, and Judge Aquilina disagreed with this court decision to revoke bond and reinstated the bond and told him not to contact the victim. And that was May.
Okay, so he turned himself on this in October? Turned himself in on this in October?
Yes, at the time of the agreement. And I'd also note that there have been no bond violations.
Well, we know if there was, Mr. Pfeiffer was gonna let us know at this point.
That's true, Your Honor. Mr. Pfeiffer would have let us know if there had been contact with the victim.
To his credit, there has not been.
Okay, I am going to grant the request to adjourn because I don't think it's in the interest of judicial economy to dismiss this case, just to have it reissued, for him to have to come back and be arraigned all over again. I will, however, amend the bond because this is an incident that took place allegedly in 2021. And when it was, I think it was authorized this summer, and he turned himself in, was arraigned. I don't see where there's been any allegations of violations since this time. When he was arraigned, he was put on a $75,000 cash surety bond with victim notification on GPS tether. Going to amend it to a personal recognizance bond with victim notification and GPS tether.
I think that's more than fair.
So, I'm sorry, the bond now will be
$75,000 personal recognizance.
with GPS tether.
Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor.
no problem. We'll get you a new date. I'm going to find good cause to adjourn. November 3rd at 1:30. November 3rd at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Any additional matters for the record?
Not for the people.
Not from the defendant. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set. Did you want for whom? Oh, for Jasmine James, yes, please. Yes.
Here's the police chief for Jasmine James.
She's gonna go get the other file, but I guess she's in one Jasmine.
There should be 2 missing thousand, but they were dismissed.
Okay, sounds good.
No, I'm doing good.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is Mr. Bigelow gonna get
I was just about to go see if he was,
Zarka?
I was about to go see if he was out there, Your Honor.
Who?
Mr. Nickel.
Oh, Mr. Nickel. I was looking for, but I don't see Miss Donnelly anyways.
I still-
Mr. Nickel has to. And she's grabbing other files on Jasmine James. Well, I don't think we know where Donnelly or Nickel is. I thought we wanted to do Zarka and we need to do Dumont, but I need their attorneys.
Zarka's attorney is here.
Oh, Zarka's attorney's here? Let's do Zarka.
It would be me.
Oh, it says Donnelly.
Yeah.
Are you handling it for Donnelly or are you just the attorney now? It says.
I'm just handling this hearing for Donnelly.
Okay, sounds good.
So I think the whole, he has 6 other cases up there, certainly, which are mine. Sections of these special.
Okay. We got 5 more cases. Mr. Joseph said he had one quick thing to take care of. There's no resident objection. But he hasn't seen his client. Just considering that there was still a review. Keep in mind. I was just about to go check. I think we're gonna take care of James here and then I'll go check.
They are.
Dragon George.
We're on the record in the matters of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jasmine James. File number is 22-02516. I also have file number 20-02492 and 02493. And 21L259602, which were all in bench mark status. council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people.
And Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Ms. James on all of her matters.
How are you, Ms. James?
I'm doing okay. A little on this November, but I'm fine.
Okay. Today was the date that was set in the felony file for a preliminary examination. You do have several bench warrants. Did you forget you had court earlier this week?
Yeah, I was, sick. Okay.
I'm sorry?
Sorry. I was under the weather.
You don't, if you're sick, you don't have to take your mask off.
Okay.
We don't need Mr. Goodrich to get sick.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
got a lot of cases to handle. Okay.
Okay.
She won't take the offended if you really raise your voice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just, we have to hear, we have to be able to hear you so she can record it.
Okay. Yeah, I was under the weather. Me and my kids was under the weather, so yeah.
Okay.
And I would just also point out that she got a hold of pretrial services yesterday, and pretrial services relayed information to me with a new phone number for her, and I got a hold of her.
Okay, sounds like on Monday you were supposed to be here for a show cause. You had a ticket on this matter, which was for no insurance, and you failed to appear for court back in February of 2021. So a default judgment was entered. You have had a lingering balance of $336 on this ticket since then. And you've not made any payments. What are you gonna do about this?
I can say now, I've been going through, like a housing situation, home, I was homeless. So, I got everything up to date. I'm about to start a job, so I can be able to pay, my fine off, that I need to.
I'm aware that you'll create you'll meet with the collections department to do a payment plan, okay? Okay, and then. Yeah, licensed dog. You've missed court on this 3 times already. So it's not that you were not feeling well.
No,
You just don't want to come to court?
no, that's not it.
What's going on with the court dates, ma'am?
I'm staying with different people and my work. Got with the mailing situation.
Yeah, I think
It's not that I don't want to go to court. Yeah,
I think you used that excuse the last time. You said you were staying with your sister.
yeah,
Then another one, you said you moved out and became homeless. And another one, you said you couldn't recall. And then the first, actually, you missed 4 times on this. Just failed to appear for your arraignment on the first one. You were given a notice for the date at your last hearing for the last few failures to appear. So using the excuse that you're moving does not suffice. How old are you?
29.
29? Then you're old enough to keep up with the date. Okay? If I told you that you need to come to court on the 18th and I'm going to give you $3,000, I bet you would remember to be here. You need to prioritize your affairs so that you don't have a bench warrant. Luckily for you, you weren't picked up on the warrant, but God forbid you're picked up on something as simple as an unlicensed dog and sitting in jail and not at home with your kids because you didn't take care of your affairs appropriately, okay? We'll reset that date. Well,
Your Honor,
is that part of the plea?
yes, the 2 dog cases are going to be part. Your Honor, I'm saying the first one you called, did you call it 21-00320? That was the city, case with the unlicensed driving.
I called the one that she had a show cause for.
On Monday, I had that case was still a pretrial. states. Status.
What I have is that she had a no license, which is probably still in pretrial.
Yes, that,
But then there was a failure to appear in 2021 on the no insurance. So she got 2 tickets that same day.
so the unlicensed, I believe, is still an active open.
It should be. You see that in warrant status? Because they only gave me 1 file.
Not in the word box, so somebody.
Yeah, well, someone must have the file. We don't know where it is, but we gotta find it to quash the warrant. So that one will get reset, I suppose, and then this one, she's gonna get on a payment plan. Okay, so as to the file for today, I do have a plea sheet here. It says that the people are offering for Ms. James to plead to an added count 2 of animals abandoning cruelty to 1 animal under MCL 750.504A. The people will dismiss counts 1 and dismiss file number 20-02493 and 20-024. I'm sorry, 2925. I don't have that file. I have 02493. Do I have?
0429.
Oh, yeah, I do have that file. 20-02492. Okay, very good. I'm just struggling to read handwriting here.
Apologize, Your Honor.
No worries. That's your agreement, ma'am, that you're gonna plead to an added count 2 of animals abandoning cruelty to 1 animal. You understand that's a misdemeanor, punishable with a maximum penalty of 93 days in jail or $1,000 or 200 hours of community service. That's a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you complete an advice of rights?
Oh, I did not ever sign the form. We did talk about it in the whole-
Okay. Ma'am, I have an advice of rights here with today's date on it. That's your signature?
Yes, sir.
You read these rights?
Yes, sir.
You understand these rights?
Yes, sir.
You've gone over them with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have no questions about them at this time?
No.
Okay, so you understand that you have the right to proceed to, well, actually, I don't think I swear you in. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understand in this matter, you have the right to proceed to trial. You have the right to have a jury trial, or you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent at the time of trial. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe would further defense to the charge. You have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you, and you have to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. In order to accept this offer, you would have to give up each of those rights. Do you understand that? You want to give those rights up? Do you want to? Anybody threatening you to give them up? Anybody make any promises to you if you give up your rights?
No.
Are you currently on probation or parole? You understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that you need to report to your current employer or to a future employer. Understanding a guilty conviction could result, a guilty plea could result in the conviction that may have impact on any immigration status you may be seeking. Okay. And you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, correct? As to the added count 2 of animals abandoned cruelty to 1, how do you plead? Have a factual basis.
Your Honor. Ms. James, on or about May 4th of 2022, were you the occupant of 1300 Otto Street?
Yeah.
And is that located in the city of Lansing, county of Hingham, state of Michigan?
Yeah.
And had you essentially kind of moved out of that address at that time?
Yes.
And did you have a dog that you continued to leave at that address?
Yes.
And between you and your friend, did the two of you not provide adequate care for that dog during a significant time period?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that you did, at least legally speaking, abandon that dog at that location?
Yes.
Your Honor, I believe that is the factual basis for abandoning cruelty for one animal.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea. Sign your plea may be voluntarily and intelligently. Any objection to immediate sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
You can make allocution.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, since James did explain that she's had a lot of difficulty with housing, and I think that was kind of what was creating the situation here. And a lot of it was due to poor communication between her and her friend. He had a couple dogs, but they were staying at this location. And I think he thought she was checking in on a regular basis, and she thought he was checking in. And it turned out that neither of them were checking in often enough. She does not have an extensive criminal history or anything along those lines. She recognized, the harm that she did to the animal based on her poor communication in this situation. We would ask the court to sentence her to fines and costs on this matter.
Are you employed, ma'am?
Yes, I will be.
Where are you gonna be employed?
Kroger's.
Okay. 'Cause you have some fines and costs you already need to pay. And we need to get you to pay those. It's not meaningful to continue to file fines and costs on you that you're not even gonna pay in the first place. So it's an unfortunate situation, but is this the property that you were leaving when you became homeless? So I can understand if you can't even take care of yourself out, you could end up in a situation where you don't have the means to take care of an animal, but there was other measures that could have been taken to ensure the safety of those animals if you were not in a position to take care of them. I'm gonna sentence you to fines and costs in the amount of $75 crime victim rights plus $50 state minimum cost. Also going to order you to do 20 hours of community service. And I'm going to give you 2 months to complete that community service, okay? And you'll have to get the list from probation as to where you can complete the community service, okay? Have any questions?
No.
Any additional matters for the record?
I just want to put on the record that there may be restitution for animal control.
We will address that if that comes up then.
Correct. If there is, if you all do not stipulate, I suppose we'll have to set it for restitution hearing, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any additional matters for the record?
Doesn't feel, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set. When you, we'll get you to probation and get the list for community service, okay? Okay.
No, is there?
Nick. Nick,
Any
you
minute.
got that file?
Okay, well,
What file?
All of, the one she just applied to,
what?
You said what?
the one she just applied to.
You want?
Oh, for Zarko.
Confused.
Yeah.
That's in, Mississippi was another one. I think that one was. Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Who's this, Sarka? Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus James Zarka, file number 22-02516, council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Abbott with the Public Defender's Office, representing Mr. Zarka today.
Okay, today's date that was set for preliminary examination. How are we proceeding?
We intend to waive the preliminary exam.
People unconditionally waive examination.
Was there an offer?
There was no offer at this time, Your Honor. Negotiations to continue as a report.
Okay, Mr. Zarka, you understand that you have the right to have a preliminary examination here in the district court?
Yes.
You understand that at the time of the preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecution put forth sufficient evidence to establish that there was probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause to charge you as the person who committed the crime.
Yes.
You wish to unconditionally waive that hearing today?
Yes, sir.
You understand that once you waive it, you can't come back later and say you want to have it. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And that this matter will then be bound over to the circuit court without holding a hearing here on sufficient evidence as to probable cause. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Anybody threatening you to get you to waive your examination? Were there any promises made to you if you waive your examination?
No.
You're waiving it freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll bind the matter over to circuit court for bind over date on November 2nd. You don't need to appear in court on that date, Mr. Zarka. That's the date that the circuit court gets the file from this court. They'll set your next court date and it'll be a pre-trial in circuit court, okay? Do you have any questions? Bond was set at $500 cash surety that will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
No from the people, Your Honor.
None from the defense thing.
Let me just sign. Thank you. And we're off the record right now. James. Sir, what's your name?
Milton Johnson the third.
Okay, you're represented by Mr. Goodrich.
He just stepped out to potentially deal with something in Judge Boyd's court, Your Honor.
Okay. We haven't seen, what's your name, sir?
Casey Taylor.
Casey Staley.
Come at 8:30.
Yeah, we're still waiting for your attorney, though.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ring.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well. I thought we have weddings today. Is it next week?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry? I'm all set, yep.
You want me to bring them up?
Do we know where his attorney is? That's, it's 10:20.
You said Mr. Dumont, I think his attorney Scott. In.
Yeah, I said where he is. Yeah, he got an 8:30 that he's not addressed. It's almost 2 hours late.
As soon as I find out. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Everybody's looking for Mr. Wendy sent an email.
Come on. Mr. Al-Sadi hasn't rejoined yet.
Madam Pro, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Casey Stalen, file number 22-02640. Council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people.
Assistant Public Defender Scott Nickel on behalf of Mr. Stalen, who is present and standing to my right.
Okay, today was the date that was set for preliminary examination. I have a plea sheet that says the people are offering for the defendant to plead guilty to an added count 2 of attempted fleeing 4th degree misdemeanor, maximum penalty 1 year and or $1,000. It's a killer brew of no upfront jail. Is that accurate? Mr. Nickel?
Yes, sir.
And you want to accept that today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. This is an advice of rights and plea information sheet with today's date on it. That's your signature.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've read this document.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand those rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've gone over those rights with your attorney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, no questions about those rights at this time?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that you have the right in this matter to proceed to a trial, and you can have a jury trial or a non-jury trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right at trial to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to question, see or hear any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call your own witnesses to trial or present evidence at trial you believe would further a defense to the charge. You have the right to remain silent and not have silence be used against you. And you have the right to have the prosecution prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that you're waiving each of those rights to accept this offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody threatening you to get you to waive those rights?
No, Your
Any promises made to you if you waive those rights?
Honor. No, Your
Are you currently on probation or parole?
Honor. No, Your Honor.
You understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that you may need to report to your job,
Yes, Your Honor.
or you may have to put it on a future job application.
Yes, Your
What may impact any immigration status you may be seeking, right? Going to Canada. You understand that?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you still want to waive your rights with that understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're pleading because you believe you are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
As to the added count to attempted fleeing 4th degree, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Is that a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Salem, back on 9/29 of 2022, were you at the area of Richmond Street and South Wadsworth Drive? Or were you on Pleasant Grove?
On Pleasant Grove in the area.
Mary, and is that in the city of Lansing,
Yes.
County of Bingham, State of Michigan?
Yes.
And when you were at that location, did you come into contact with a police officer?
Yes.
And was he in a marked police car?
Yes.
And did he turn his lights on signaling you to stop?
Yes, he did.
And did you then drive away from his vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Any questions from the prosecution?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Or is satisfied with the factual basis on accept your plea? Find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. We will accept this matter for sentencing. The sentencing date's going to be Friday, December 16th at 8:30 in the morning. That can be held via Zoom if all parties consent. Prior to sentencing, you need to meet with probation. They're going to provide the court with the pre-sentence report and recommendation. You should go down to the 5th floor when you leave here so they can get you set up for that, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing to do, Your Honor.
Nothing's been affected. Your Honor.
You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I do have Mr. Al-Asadi back. Back on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Ali Fahad Al-Asadi. This was in file number 22-02662, council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of the people.
Dwayne Silvercorn from the Office of Public Defender on behalf of Ali Fahad Al-Asadi. I'm standing in for Steve Feigelson. And I would note that Mr. Al-Asadi is appearing on screen.
Thank you. And Mr. Al-Asadi, we recessed to allow you an opportunity to talk to Mr. Silverthorne and discuss this offer more so you can understand what it meant and what the ramifications were for you. The offer was for you to plead guilty to an added count 3 of an attempted fleeing 4th degree. And you discussed that further and you have an understanding now, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and do you want to accept that offer at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. And Mr. Alasada, you have the right in this matter to proceed to a trial, and you have the right to have a jury trial, or you can have a non-jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to the presumption of innocence. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call, and you have the right to call your own witnesses at trial or present evidence that you believe would further a defense to the charge. You also have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. And you would be giving up each of those rights today if you wanted to plead guilty. Is it your intention to give up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anybody threatening you to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty today?
No, Your Honor.
Has any promises been made to you if you give up your rights and plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that you're going to need to report to either your current employer or a future employer?
Yes, Your Honor.
A guilty plea could also result in a conviction that would have an impact on any immigration status you may be seeking. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're pleading guilty today because you believe you are guilty?
Yes.
Okay, as to the added count 3 of attempted fleeing 4th degree, how do you plead, sir?
Sorry, what was that?
The added count 3 of attempted fleeing 4th degree, how do you plead?
Yes.
Guilty, how are you pleading, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty?
Okay, you said that with a question mark at the end. Are you sure?
Yes, guilty.
Okay, factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm
Mr.
sorry, I never
Al-Assadi,
been to court before.
No problem.
I understand. Mr. Al-Assadi, I'm going to take you back to earlier this month. On October 2nd, 2022, were you driving a vehicle near healthcare in South Pennsylvania in the city of Lansing, County of Bingham, state of Michigan?
Yes.
Were you driving at an excessively high rate of speed?
Yes.
Did there come a time when a marked police car was behind you with its siren on and its overheads running?
Yes.
Okay, and did you see that and still continue on ahead without stopping?
Yes, I did see that, but I got really nervous and I started to panic. Because I
I
never,
understand. Mr. Al-Assadi, that's absolutely understandable. And it's not an excuse, but I think that it's reasonable to assume that that's what happened. Correct?
yes, because I never been
Panic.
pulled over before.
You panicked and you tried to flee from the officer, correct?
Yes.
And you later, when you had stopped the vehicle, the officer was able to catch up with you and issue a
Yes.
citation. Thank you.
Any questions from the prosecution?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea. Finding a plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. This matter is set for sentencing on December 2nd at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Al-Assadi, you're gonna have to speak with probation. You need to report to probation no later than Tuesday at 10:30, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna report to them. They'll get you set up for a pre-sentence report and recommendation for how you should be sentenced. They'll also advise me as to whether or not you're eligible to be sentenced under HYTA, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions at this time?
Yes, how do I contact them?
You need to appear in person, so you need to come down to City Hall. We're at 124 West Michigan Ave, and the court is on the 6th floor, but the probation department is on the 5th floor, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any more questions?
No, that would be it.
Mr. Alisadi, do you know where Lansing City Hall is?
No, but I can ask my brother.
Do you know where the Capitol building is?
No, I
State
don't.
Capitol?
This is the Lansing?
Google it, wiki it, and ask somebody so that so you know where the Lansing City Hall is, okay?
Okay, I will.
He's currently living in Lansing, it says. Correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, well, then you need to make sure you contact us, okay? If you have any
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
If you don't have any more at this time, you're free to go. We'll see you in the building on Tuesday or by Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Number two. Oh, we're on the record in the matter, the people of the state of Michigan versus Milton Odom Johnson. The second, file number. Oh, it's cutting off the extra I. I think I did that last time. File number is 21-03402. Council appearance.
Brian Ring on behalf of people.
Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Mr. Johnson.
Okay, today was the date that was scheduled for a preliminary examination. How are we proceeding?
People don't have necessary witnesses here today, Your Honor, and I'm able to proceed this time.
That being the case, Your Honor, the defense would ask for dismissal of this matter.
Okay, this case will be dismissed without prejudice, so that simply means it's gonna be dismissed, but the people have the right to reissue the charge if they later make contact with the necessary witnesses, okay? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. If you want to sit down, get your copy of the dismissal, okay?
All right, you have a great. Yeah.
Same to you.
Last one. Gotta go get Judge jury instructions Tuesday.
Apparently, Mr. Bigelow. 22-02663 FY council appearance.
Ryan Ring on behalf of people.
And Assistant Public Defender Scott Nickel on behalf of Mr. Dumont.
How are you, Mr. Dumont? Today was the date that was set for a preliminary examination. There is a note here, however, that we were going to treat it today as a PCC. So no witnesses would be subpoenaed. I'm assuming that's because your court-appointed application was pending. Is that accurate?
Yes, and that was approved and I was appointed on Wednesday. An appearance has been filed.
Okay, very good. And so Mr. Nichols likely doesn't have discovery.
That is true.
And so because of that, I'm going to find good cause to adjourn beyond the 21-day timeline. So you have the right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days of your arraignment. You were arraigned on October 3rd, but because of the late appointment, we're not able to proceed at this time. Okay, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Let me get you the date.
Do November 3rd at 1:30.
Does November 3rd work for you? Mr. Nichols?
That will work for me.
November 3rd at 1:30. Any additional matters for the record?
Definitely people, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll get you a copy of your notice. You'll be all set. Thank you. Any luck with Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
Yeah.
For report on that. Part of the deal, which was HIDA, was that he received HIDA if otherwise eligible.
Yes.
And the report that I was sent just doesn't recommend one way or the other. It doesn't even mention it one way or the other. And I didn't want to call Mr. Schultz if the court felt it needed to go back and have that portion completed, or if it could just call the agent. It appears from the wording of the report, I would assume that the agent probably did not have any opposition to it, but simply didn't mark it one way or the other. And so I didn't want to call Mr. Schultz until I found out what the court, how the court wished to proceed, if they wanted to defer it and reset it. Or he's not in custody, so. Pardon?
How old was he when it happened?
There's only 25 now. So,
So it's a consent IGA?
and Martin, yeah, Chris said that there is no opposition if it's not opposed.
It's up to the judge.
If he's otherwise eligible.
Doesn't matter what probation says of the judge.
I understand that. I didn't know if she.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. I'm looking at his criminal history and his date of birth on here. I don't see any reason why he would get it.
Okay,
4 is 25.
then I'll give him a call and see if I can get it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to
Oh,
call
yeah.
him until I knew.
Sounds good. That's all we have until 1 o'clock.